far north of Skaratha and south to Albany, east to Merredin and Kalgoorlie. There are a lot of cadet units scattered around Western Australia. Now, you see coming down the parade route, the Town of Victoria Park Brass Band. They've been part of the Anzac Day parade for many years now, and you'll note that they're wearing black armbands, bearing the insignia of the 460 Bomber Squadron.
And we'll hear more about the Bomber Squadrons and Bomber Command later on in the parade, and RSL State Executive immediately behind them, just in front of the Lest We Forget banner. William Gaynor, OAM, RFD being the state president. He's just moved across to the dais to take the salute for the returned servicemen and women today. And also you'll see the West Australian Great War Living History Association in their various uniforms. Superb attention to detail. They do an outstanding job in the community with commemorations and work at the Army Museum of WA and at Artillery Barracks in Fremantle on occasional weekends. And some of them are marching in a naval uniform indicating World War II service on HMAS Sydney. You've got the Light Horse and the infantry amongst them as well.
And just in advance of the Jeeps today, once again we have Perth Legacy, formed by a small group of returning World War I veterans in 1923. And they continue to look after the families of those who lose loved ones. And in more recent times, we've had the likes of the Black Hawk helicopter disaster, the fire on board HMAS Westralia, and the RAAF F-111 crash in Malaysia. The lead Jeep there, you note, carrying the flame, which was lit earlier today from the Eternal Flame, which in turn was lit many years ago now by Queen Elizabeth at the head of the State War Memorial in Kings Park.
And the vehicles come through from the military section of the Veteran Car Club of WA, magnificently restored, and give the opportunity for the veterans who no longer walk or march the route to be involved. And the drivers who give generous of their time and their vehicles, Ron Devonish will be taking some of the 2nd 16th boys with them, Keith Norrish, a Kokoda and Syria veteran, Ron Wiseman and Frank Snow-Lee, another Kokoda man, Johnny Parker with his Jeep with the War Widows, and they're the Legacy War Widows, Patty Joss and Cecily Batt and Ronnie Roach will be there. Who else we've got? Bob Henderson, yes, in his Champ with the Royal Marines. Brian Thompson with the 2nd 11th Battalion and some members of the 2nd 17th Battalion as well. Leo Barnden is with him. He was a prisoner of war on Crete, and with the 2nd 11th Battalion, one of the famous Western Australian infantry battalions of the Second War. Norm Chester and his Jeep will have some of the RAAF people with him. Dick Fairhurst and Max Powell. Sand-coloured Jeep going through the parade there in the desert colours. George Goldie in his Jeep with Signals and 9 Divvy people, Les Vickery from 9 Div, and Mick Gibbs and Bruce Jelly from Signals. And the New Zealand contingent's not forgotten, with Graham Reed's Land Rover taking Tom Mackay, Charles Mackay, Les Anderson and Pal Williams, keeping the Anzac spirit alive there with the mixture of the Australia and New Zealand contingents.
And the large vehicle at the back there, a Blitz, driven by Jim Sewell, with the members of the 2nd 28th Battalion aboard.
The Green Berets were the Royal Marines, and you'll have other contingents from the Royal Australian Engineers with Ray Chester and Jack McRoberts, one of the stalwarts of the vehicle group and a long-time supporter of the Army Museum in Fremantle, with more of the Royal Australian Engineers. Also the Catalina Flying Boats, and we'll hear more about them throughout the parade, and more National Servicemen contingents as well, with Frank Cox and his Jeep.
Now we see the hospital cars, and in hospital car number 17, Patricia Ingham, who was married